AHA and PMF South India Film Festival, presented by Sprite, luxury partner Kohler, wellness partner VK Hair and Skin Clinic, strength partner Bharati Cements, romance partner Cadbury Silk, and special partner Streaks. Entertainment partner Mirchi 98.3 FM and Ghana, outdoor partner Lead Space, digital partner City Media, influencer partner Digiwood, supported by The News.
Hello everyone. We have here a mix of. Thank you for being here today and having me here and with this panel. I'd like to begin with Mr. SKN. And when you, over the years, you saw Hindi cinema be, evolving over a period of time. What was your opinion as someone who makes Telugu films?
Telugu cinema, the first Mukhi film of Telugu cinema, 1932, Bhakta Prahlada, is being produced by Hindi producer.
Right.
So that is by Imperial Production Company. So when that Mukhi cinema era, there is no Telugu, Hindi, and because there is no sound, every film is a pan-India cinema.
Right.
After the sound came, that differences and differentiation came.
Yeah.
So from Telugu cinema, there are many legends like Chiranjeevi garu, Venkatesh garu, Nagarjuna garu. Everyone, they made success, but they didn't continue there. So hope this generation will fill the gap and we will make more pan-Indian films.
Right, and that's a great point because even after sound, you had production houses like AVM. So if a film was made in one of the three languages, that is Hindi, Tamil, and Telugu, they would automatically be made in the other two languages. So there are many films which have three versions. Famously Miss Saman and films like that. At what point did you see a difference start happening between the Southern cinema, but specifically Telugu cinema and Hindi cinema?
So we cater to few audience and Hindi cinema cater to few audience. And some subjects will cater to most of the audience. So we basically play an entertainment and action, heroism. These things will cater to our audience. And Hindi cinema also have few similarities with us. So if both will collaborate, so we can make great synergy, I guess.
Right. So Anil, as somebody who's distributed films for so long, and when do you think the attention of people in Bombay shift towards Telugu cinema? Was there one particular film that helped make that shift, or was it like a period, or how did it happen?
Even in the earlier days, there were a lot of Hindi films that were made with a lot of South directors, South producers. So it's always been, this industry has always dominated even in the North because the kind of films that they've made.
Yeah.
But I think earlier, even in the North, we were making similar kind of films. But then suddenly with the overseas market opening up, the shift happened from the heartland kind of cinema to urban cinema. That's where the shift happened. But the South has always been dominant, and majority of our population likes these kind of films vis-a-vis the upmarket films. But in recent times, I think it's Bahubali that changed a lot of things, and the shift happened, I think, post that.
Right.
More recognition happened post that.
Right. And that's when everybody sat up and said, oh my God, we've probably been ignoring a whole bunch of audiences. Is that when that happened?
Yeah, because the kind of films that we started making in the North were very, very urban and more overseas friendly. Whereas the majority of the population only prefers this kind of cinema, the commercial, the heroism. So I think it's post Bahubali that the whole shift happened, and everyone recognized that even if a film is dubbed, it can achieve those numbers because Bahubali set the benchmarks and raced ahead of all the business of even the Hindi films.
Right. Because till then, I think Dangal was the topper, right, in terms of the Hindi
Dangal
film.
was,
Dangal
yes,
was, right?
yes.
And this kind of leaps and bounds over that.
It became the number one cinema of all time, movie of all time. I think it's Bahubali that changed the entire pattern, the thinking of people in the North, and it was a wake-up call that this is the kind of film that should be made.
Right.
I mean, it was followed by KGF, Pushpa, I mean, so on and so forth. And now I think Telugu cinema is ruling for us.
Right.
But sorry, to add to this, I think historically we have, I mean, Hindi cinema has been pillaging from South for the longest time.
Yeah.
Whether it's remaking Tamil films or Malayalam films, Telugu films of late in the last, I think, 10, 15 years. But we have always been borrowing stories of all kinds, songs. Some of the best actors have come from South to Hindi cinema. Whether it's actresses or, Kamal Haasan was there, Rajinikanth was there. Some of the best talented directors have come there and changed and shaped Hindi cinema. Whether it's Samkar Verma or so many others, right? And there was a phase where you had Jitendra making his 10 years of literally all his super hit films, which were done out here. It was a language which was more Telugu cinema than Hindi cinema.
Right.
But it gave him his biggest, longest spell for that matter. I think what changed in Hindi cinema, as Anil rightly said, was the shift to the NRI audience with DDLJ happening.
Right.
And suddenly we started catering to them. Your story stopped being more about the heartland here. And what Telugu cinema did, or Tamil for that matter, or Malayalam has been doing regularly is they've been rooted to the heartland. They have never suddenly gone to the NRI audience per se. Their stories have in fact got more and more and more rooted, going deeper, away from cities.
Right.
We have been urbanizing cinema for the longest time. That change kind of alienated the audiences. Then we started remaking Telugu films in any case, buying rights and stuff like that. But now I think, and what's also happened cinematically, Telugu cinema found their visual language. Whether it's action, whether it's stylizing, even in Tamil films, when you watch the way they use rap, it's next level. Pop culture is used in a very interesting fashion. We are now absorbing that. And the last 4-5 years, Hindi cinema has been in a flux, rediscovering itself. Because also with OTT coming in, audiences have moved ahead by 10 years.
Right.
So everybody is now rushing to catch up speed to that. And a lot of cinema that came out in Hindi recently was remakes of which Hindi dub versions have already been seen because of Gold Mike.
Yeah.
So it's been a learning curve for Hindi cinema to rediscover their own language. And Telugu cinema, Tamil, Malayalam and Kannada cinema for that matter, I think have a 10-year advantage as of right now. So.
Right.
But I think what Bahubali did was earlier the films were being made in Hindi by the South superstars, South directors. They were being made, but Bahubali changed everything because it was a dub film. And for a dub film to break out and do that kind of business, which showed that actually language is no barrier. That was a turning curve. I think Bahubali changed a lot, the pattern.
That's a great point, and I want to pick up on that language point that both of you brought up, and so you two weigh in. There are so many directors and producers that I speak to, and they say that one of the big differences between the films of the South and the films in Bombay till a certain time was that in the South you still have filmmakers coming from the heartland and making films, whereas the Bombay filmmakers, most of them, they can't read or write Hindi, most of them. They are a very English-speaking group for the most part. Is this true? Is this like a...
But you can't blame them because they've been
No,
brought...
I'm not talking as a
so you,
good
see,
or bad thing. Is that why...
Studied, because they have been born and brought up in a city. So unfortunately, they think in a certain way, and for them to think beyond may be difficult. But people living here, they are from the grassroots. I mean, the directors, if you see, they're from the grassroots, and they think their vision is such which relates to the common man.
Yeah.
So when you relate to a common man, your business automatically becomes larger.
Right.
So it's this mindset, it's the pattern and the upbringing. So they have been thinking in an urban way, and that's how they make such films. So I mean, that's what it is, and that is reality. That's why the South films are doing that kind of business. But once they make a shift, or we also have a few directors who think larger. Then like we've had Manmohan Desai who've been originals, a Subhash Ghai, Mr. Subhash Ghai. And they made such films. But because of the shift and the new generation cannot think like what they used to think.
Right.
So it's just the mindset.
So the 90s basically was the time the NRI shift happened. Yeah. So you have something to add about the language point, or?
So my thing is this, that two things. Right now, you have Somen Mishra, who's the head of Dramatic. He's from Odisha. You have a whole bunch of directors and writers coming in from all parts. TVF played a big part. They got writers in from the heartlands, having all these, workshops. So you have Panchayats and Gullaks coming out again from the heartland stories. So now in Hindi cinema and OTT, you have a whole bunch of writers and directors who have come from various places. And also when we talk about Bombay, I mean, Bombay is also suburbs, right? It's not just Juhu and Bandra. So now you have people from different suburbs of Mumbai who have seen different parts of life, which is much more middle class in terms of stories. And the other part is this, that now people are reading books and adapting books. And when a novelist writes, they bring in a lot of culture, a lot of storytelling into that. And when they are adapted, by virtue of adapting a book, you're getting a lot of culture out of it, even if it's in English.
Yeah.
Though, yeah, I mean, it is a fact that a lot of directors, and there's a reason for that. If you have someone who is from a different region of India making a Hindi film, he may not read or write Hindi, but he can understand Hindi. So Roman becomes a uniform, language to kind of write per se in. But yeah, there are actors who want their scripts in Hindi still to date. Manoj Bajpayee, for example,
Right.
is one of them. But yeah.
Yeah. SKN, you had one of the biggest Telugu hits ROI-wise last year with Baby, and now you're remaking it in Hindi. So tell me, what is it that tells you that, okay, this content is going to work there as well? What is it that's your instinct there?
Sir, my instinct is that film is aimed to youngsters. So this will relate to any language, any industry, I feel, because when Arjun Reddy became blockbuster here, so he translated it big into Hindi also. So I feel and I hope Baby also do the magic same in the Hindi. And Hindi, it is going to be more intense than Telugu also according to the script, and I am very much sure it will show with the audience big time.
Nice. So, one of the biggest success stories of last year was Sandeep Reddy Vanga's Animal. And that was a film, I think, that has become the biggest R-rated or A-rated grosser of all time, if I'm not mistaken. What is it? How would you classify the sensibility? Would you say it's a mass sensibility that's worked with everyone, or do you think it's a kind of a Hindi film sensibility because it's run? Because I'm like, when you look at that movie, or is there something called an Indian film sensibility what has made that film break out like that?
So I think before Animal, it was even Kabir Singh that shattered everything. It was an adult-rated film, and it broke out, and that A-rated film for an A-rated film that had done the maximum amount of business. Now it's Animal. So I think it's just Sandeep Reddy Vanga who's a visionary, and the way he thinks, he's very convinced of what he does, and he's just a maverick. Hats off to him, because he goes with his conviction. It's path-breaking what he thinks, and I think he knows what the masses want. So hats off to him.
I think one is that it's his conviction. And I don't think, like, usually what happens is something works, everybody tries to follow. You can't follow an animal because it's coming from a thought process which is original. That's his belief, which he's willing to fight with everybody for. Right? Number one. Secondly, cinematically, he's extremely gifted. And third, I think there is a massive population of incels on this planet right now. And it speaks to all of them. Because so many men want, but don't get. And that population is the have-nots are more than the haves. He speaks to the have-nots. Right. He appeals directly to them and their basic instincts. And it's a story about them. We can get into the politics of his justification or not. But in terms of storytelling, it's great craft.
Right, but like that's Kabir Singh or Arjun Reddy. What about Animal?
It somewhere appealed to your baser instincts. Number one, it's great storytelling. Two, the songs are outstanding. His craft is brilliant. It holds you for those 3 hours. It never flags. Right. As a film, it works, right? So it's that. The issues that we can debate about, oh, this is problematic and stuff, that's his conviction. When we fight for freedom of expression, if I want to say something, you have to fight for my right, then I should be fighting for your right to say it as well. And if it's problematic, let's talk it out. But watch the film first. At times I get into discussion with people who have not seen the film. Oh, it's this. I'm like, see it. Let's talk. That sparks a conversation. In fact, I think his film Animal has sparked so much of conversation on misogyny then most films haven't, right? So at least you know what to do and not to do as a male in society. But fact is, it's great storytelling. The characters somewhere appealed. It appeals to the baser instinct.
Anil, you wanted to say something?
You know what? He's such a committed and a convinced person. I've been privileged to be that I distributed Kabir Singh, I distributed Animal 2, and he had shown me 1 hour of the film about 3-4 months before the release, and I made it a point to tell him that I think there's a lot of English, and I think you should dub it into Hindi. Maybe the common man might not understand. He said, "No, you're wrong. I think they'll understand everything. There's simple words, and if I dub it into Hindi, the Hindi words don't seem correct. When I think about a dialogue, and if I think about it in English, for me to say it in Hindi seems absurd. So I think I will retain the whatever I've done the way it is." And hats off to him. And I remember I told him, if this film does anything below 400 crores, we'll be disappointed. So why don't you dub it? Maybe it will, cross the bar. And he proved me wrong. I mean, hats off to him, really.
Right.
Basically, Ali made a lot of money.
And adding to that point, he made his first film Arjun Reddy. All his logos are in English, not in Telugu. All his logos are Arjun Reddy in English only. Never we have seen Arjun Reddy in Telugu. He made it in Telugu also, English logo.
Right. So this year in Telugu cinema has some mega projects, right? And I think the mega-est of all is Pushpa 2. And then you have Kalki and Devara. And all these films are probably more anticipated, as much, the rest of the country as much here, right? Because they're all pan-India films. They're all, going for dubs. And I'm sure this man is probably going to distribute half of them. So when you have, our Telugu filmmakers today, conscious of the fact that, are they saying, I'm going to root my films in a Telugu culture, which is going to make it special and going to make it travel? Or have they now started thinking, okay, now I'm going to have to appeal to a lot of markets. So let me try and, get a little bit from sensibility from other places as well.
Stick to your roots, it will attract anywhere. The biggest example is Kantara.
Right.
So they didn't make any attempt to attract pan-Indian artists like that. But it attracted everywhere. Like that, Pushpa. It is a raw, rustic film. It attracted everywhere big time, and the huge anticipation for the second part. If you stick to the core content, it will, like, we are very much fond of Korean films and Netflix, and South Indians who are very fond of Malayalam films. So when you are stick to your culture, roots, so it will attract everyone. So no need to packaging, okay, that artist, that music, that it is another package. But if you stick to core content, so it will work.
Right. But I'm also talking about, see, when you say Kantara, when you say Bahubali, when you talk about Pushpa, these films, till a certain time, they were, the people involved with the film, the people acting in the film, they were all from that region. But now, you find, for example, Kalki has Deepika Padukone, Devara has Janvi. So a lot of films, and since we're talking about Telugu and Hindi, I'll restrict myself, but even movies being made in other regions, they have started incorporating this artists from other places, I think for recognition or this thing. Like one example is Jailer, for instance, So has that begun to change is what I'm trying to...
Yes, now currently Mr. Ramcharan film have Janvi and A.R. Rahman. So that is one kind of thing. And few films are very rooted subjects. Those need not to that packaging. And few subjects are very massive in the terms of subject. So some subjects will come with that packaging. So both will appeal. So one film doesn't need all the technicians from every industry, and one film need to reach wider audience. Both are right in their own perspectives, and both will work.
Right. And I think the best example would be the two Malayalam films released this year, Manimal Boys and Premalu. I know Premalu has come into Telugu.
Yes.
I don't know if Manimal Boys has been...
It's releasing next week.
Next week in a dubbed version. So have you heard about these?
I've seen the film, actually.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Right.
I mean, so Shruti Hassan had gone to see it. I couldn't see it, and then she said, "You must watch it. It is such a good film." And I mean, the reference to Guna is so well done. I mean, and I mean, I revisited Guna after watching it again because I'd seen that a long time ago.
Right.
It's magical. And again, as you said, rooted storytelling. Make films about what you know.
Right.
Even if it's urban, make it about what you know, what you feel.
And no stars.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the best thing. It was like, at least in Manipal Boys, you have Sabin Shahir, who's somewhat well known. In Premulu, practically everybody's a newcomer. And that's done very well in Telugu.
Yes.
So, I think that's basically what you're saying about rooted storytelling. Any last thoughts? You've got to hand it over to the audience for Q&A.
I think we're living in a very interesting phase in cinema today where we are reaching that pan-India film stage where everybody's working together to create a language which will result in a holistic Indian film per se. I think we are close because it's all converging. I mean, we talk about global filmmaking. We as a country, I mean, are different states. We have multiple countries in one piece of land, but we are finally slowly discovering a convergence. And that's happening again, maybe with OTT, with actors from all mediums working together. But that's translating to cinema.
Right.
And that new voice of cinema that will come out will be the actual Indian film, sound, which will be amazing. Besides celebrating our languages.
Right.
So I think I tend to agree with him. It's amazing to see that now films are becoming Indian films and they're not language-based films, and our audiences, Indian audiences, are understanding there is one film which can attract people from various parts of the states, various parts of the country, speaking different languages, getting attracted to one film. Hence, the kind of business that the films are doing today, we've never seen before. So it's heartening to see that these films are being made and language is no more a barrier. Yeah. So automatically the flow of films increase. We are watching different films from different languages. And I mean, we are set for a bigger platform. Budgets have increased. Bigger films are being made because the business has increased. So I just feel we are headed for a big times, changing times, and good films ahead.
Right.
After COVID, in audience mindset of entire India, they are craving for good content. Where there is a good content, they are immediately picking up, irrespective of language. We are used to encourage Hollywood dubbed films also. Titanic did huge in my childhood because we don't know any known person or like that. If there is any good content, there is no language barrier. And after the evolution of social media, so everybody, every language heroes and heroines, technicians became closer. So once there is a good subject and once there is a good packaging of artists from other languages, so the Indian cinema will, there is no Tollywood, Bollywood, Collywood. So one person, Indian cinema. So that word will become popular in coming days. There is a cinema because we all are movie lovers. No matter what, we will encourage all languages. We are encouraging global cinema. Then why not Indian cinema? So because in future there is not woods, only Indian cinema will stand alone.
That's a great point to end the discussion on. Questions, please.
I have one request to the speakers on stage. Can you all discourage the use of the word Bollywood, Tollywood, Collywood and start pushing Indian cinema?
I mean, end of the day, my thing is this. I would not want to put a gun to someone's head, but if it comes from a place of emotion, great. If it comes from a place of insult, then I would kind of correct it. But grammar Nazi. But yeah, I mean, it's love, right? Cinema is love. End of story. So I wouldn't trust someone. But I think everybody does call in today's times Hindi films as Hindi films.
When I go to Fiki Frames, they're using Bollywood. When I go to different platforms, they all call it Bollywood, Collywood, Tollywood.
We should be going to all these places and changing it out. So,
Absolutely. That's what I'm requesting. Thanks.
I just wanted to ask, what is the future of films in general? Because in Book My Show, I see a lot of films having green, because even though they are good films. So what do you think in general is the future of films and filmmaking?
So I think in India, heroes are worshipped. Films are the cheapest form of entertainment. it becomes a family outing. So I think films are going to be around, they are going to go nowhere. It's pure entertainment. And I don't think audiences, even though there is an influx of OTT, even though there has been influx of the DVD, video, I think, but theatrical business is always going to be there. And uh, if good films are made, audiences are going to come to the cinema to see it.
గ్రీన్ అనేది రెడ్లోకి వెళ్ళడానికి ఫస్ట్ సింబల్ అండి. సో ఫస్ట్ గ్రీన్తో స్టార్ట్ అవుద్ది. ఇప్పుడు కంటెంట్ బాగుంటే అది ఆరెంజ్లోకి రెడ్లోకి టర్న్ అవుట్ సోల్డ్ అవుట్ అవుతుంది.
అంటే
కంటెంట్ మ్యాటర్స్.
యా, అంటే ఏంటంటే చాలా సినిమాలు బాగుంటున్నాయి కానీ జనాలు చూడట్లేదు సినిమా థియేటర్కి వెళ్ళి, కానీ ఓటీటీకి కానీ. సో వాళ్ళకి డిస్హార్టనింగ్గా ఉంటుంది కదా. యాజ్ అ ఫిల్మ్ లవర్, ఫిల్మ్ బఫ్, నేను థియేటర్కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు నేను ఒక్కడనే ఉంటే ఆర్ నలుగురు ఐదుగురు ఉంటే చాలా డిస్హార్టనింగ్ ఉంది. ఇట్స్ వెరీ డిస్హార్టనింగ్ టు సీ ఎంటీ సీట్స్ ఇన్ థియేటర్. సో హౌ విల్ యూ కర్బ్ ఇట్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద స్టెప్స్ దట్ యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు టేక్ ఇన్ ద ఫ్యూచర్?
I have observed a trend. Slowly for small and upcoming stars films, that morning show trend is not encouraging. There are many films become housefuls if we screen evening shows, because baby, I screened 100 premieres. All 100 shows become houseful. But another small film opens with morning show, there are very less, because for upcoming stars, people are not coming to watch early morning show if the content get a good talk. So we need to wait, and so upcoming stars film won't get houseful on Friday morning show. Eventually, if it get a good talk, Saturday might will it pick up. So we can't see Friday morning show is a result, because the trend is gone. Unless if it is a big star, Friday morning show, who will bunk our college and our life early Friday non-holiday will give come opening. So I suggest producers, start your premieres Thursday evening or Friday evening for upcoming star films. It will attract, because Hanuman also, they screen many screens. Evening shows will become bigger. So people are watching waiting to watch the films the first day on evening shows. So don't take it book my show morning show result as green on Friday. See, wait for the Saturday, or if your films will screen premieres in the evening, the mouth talk will spread. If the content is good, the weekend will be huge.
I just want to kind of add one thing, slightly segueing away, is you talked about the future of filmmaking. My question is, talk about the future of filmmakers and actors and technicians. With AI coming, you're going to have people sitting on computers with Soro and Gemini and the next version of it, and ChatGPT 5 and 6 coming, where writers come into pictures or journalists come into pictures. Everything is changing. In the next 10 years, we will be in a very different landscape. So we need to be ahead of that curve. Because today, as of right now, anybody with a mobile phone is a content creator. We consume stuff in 30 seconds and 50 seconds also. Everything is changing. So bottom line is, our business is evolving at a speed which is so rapid that I don't think anybody knows what the future is. We just need to keep adapting.
If you really love films so much, and I'm sure there's a lot of population that loves films so much, even if you cannot go to that first day, first show, book a ticket. That's it. Ask 2 friends of yours to book a ticket. It's $100, I don't know, $100, $200, something like that. It's something you can surely do. That way, at least half the occupancy is taken care of. And then, you can watch it later or whatever it is. But if you love cinema, let's also take some responsibility and not just say, you make it and then, the responsibility of making the film is yours, the responsibility of making it a hit is yours. But, where is the audience saying, yes, the big films, like he said, there's no worry at all. But where are the smaller films going to get that encouragement? So I'm saying, if we say that we love films, like my producer does that. My show producer, he books 2 tickets for every single film and says, that's my contribution to that film. So maybe that's a start. So, and thanks everyone for this panel, and thank you so much for this invitation, and hope this event is proven to be a big success. Thank you.
AHA and PMF South India Film Festival, presented by Sprite, luxury partner Kohler, wellness partner VK Hair and Skin Clinic, strength partner Bharati Cements, romance partner Cadbury Silk, and special partner Streaks. Entertainment partner Mirchi 98.3 FM and Ghana, outdoor partner Leadspace, digital partner City Media, influencer partner Digiwood, supported by The News.